Hey everyone, Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well. Sorry about the dark setting here. I'm just in my car, and I really didn't have all that much time to do some videos when we had daylight, and it was kind of cold, so I wasn't going to walk around the neighborhood like some of you guys have told me to do. So I figure I'll just do it right here, right now, before I head into class. So I wanted to talk about not quitting, about how, one of the best things about jiu-jitsu is that it teaches you perseverance, and it teaches you to dig deep down to find your inner strength. And I know that's kind of a cliche, but it really is true. So I'll give you a few examples. So example one is a student of mine. She was competing in a tournament, and I think I'd mentioned this in one of my past videos, and she was losing 6-2. She had gotten mounted, and she had gotten swept to start and then mounted, and so that's, I guess that was 6 points. But she didn't quit, and in fact just kept fighting and fighting, and eventually got out of the mount and ended up pulling guard on her, going to guard, recomposing her guard from under mount, and then started to set up a series of attacks, what we call the 1-2-3, the choke, the arm bar, and the climb the ladder. So she went for a choke and had a pretty good choke on this girl, but this girl fought it off, valiantly. But we could tell by watching her that she didn't really know how to deal with a choke. But at the same time, she was still winning. So her coach is yelling at her, the time and how you're winning 6-2, just, posture up, regular basic stuff, right? Anyway, so my competitor wasn't able to choke this girl out. So what she did was she transitioned to a straight armbar from the street guard, right, side guard, where the arm is kind of like that, but it's hard to see in the dark. But she transitioned to that, and the girl, I think she might have got her arm tweaked in that one, but she was winning, so she just kept fighting on, valiantly. This girl really, dug deep to keep fighting and try to outlast my competitor. And from there, these are white belts, by the way. They're juniors, so they're 15 years old. Then mine transitions from that attempted armbar to an omoplata, and didn't quite have that set up correctly. This her opponent was really good at defense. Got out of it, and then she ended up taking her back and tried to set up a bow and arrow choke, but didn't have the other important part of the bow and arrow done to be able to complete it, so that didn't get completed. And then transitioned to a side mount and tried to set up a choke from there. That didn't work, so she ended up just taking the arm at that point. And the coach is telling her, hold on, because the clock was ticking down. It's like by the time she went for the armbar, probably about 7 seconds left in the match, and still winning 6-2. All those submission attempts that my competitor had, they don't amount for any points whatsoever. So what happened was, and it wasn't a side mount. It was almost a side mount, but the girl had her leg, so it was like kind of like a half guard mount sort of thing, but she didn't get points for it. So she went for the arm and ended up submitting her with 1 second left. So that's perseverance for you, right? When you think that things are not going your way and you're losing, doesn't mean you've lost until the clock is run out, right? And in that way, that's what makes jiu-jitsu tournaments beautiful, when you have somebody who's just losing by a good margin, a comfortable margin for the opponent. And all the opponent has to do is let the clock run out, but you don't let them run the clock out, right? So that's one option. So another option is, many of you know I'm a big fan of Formula One racing, and those of you who watch, it's a series of races. I think this year they had 21 races, and it came down to the very last race. So whoever won, or whoever was ahead of the other in the race, won the championship. And it would turn out to be a very exciting championship, and some will say one got robbed and the other didn't. But the one who ended up winning was the one that was winning throughout most of the season, and he won more races, and he either finished first or second. He finished first or second in every race he finished, but of course he had a blowout, he had an accident, all that, so those are do not finishes, so he had 4 DNFs. But in the remaining I guess that would be 15 races, he finished either first or second, and he finished first in like 10 of them. So, this guy just kept trying and kept trying. He's the underdog this season. The other guy was the world champion 7 times running. And so this underdog, he just persevered and persevered and persevered. And it was in the final lap that he was able to overtake the champ and win the whole thing, right? He didn't give up when he thought that he would be, when it would lose, and he would lose because the champ was way ahead. But circumstances occur, all within the rule books, which kind of sucks, but still it was within the rules. And the underdog, who was leading most of the season, ended up overtaking the champ and winning the championship. Not only the race, but the championship. So that's perseverance in action. Just digging deep and just not giving up and waiting until it's over before you finally relax. The third example happened in the UFC a couple of weeks ago. We were having our annual Christmas party here in Texas, and the UFC was on, and it was that Juliana Pena against Amanda Nunes. And I think they said that Nunes was a 10-1 favorite, and nobody was putting money on Pena, and everybody was putting it on Nunes. So 10-1 basically means you have to put up 1,000 to win 100. It was something like that, right? So if Pena wins, you get, if you're bet on Nunes, so the most you could do is win $100. But if Pena wins, you lose 1,000, right? It's freaking crazy. But people were betting on that, which is unbelievable. But that's how the money was going. Amanda Nunes was such a sure bet that she was going to win, that's what the odds were. So Pena was as long shot as a long shot could get, or as long as a long shot could be. But anyway, in the second round, for those of you that watched it, it was Nunes would throw a punch, Pena would follow up. Punch, follow, punch, follow, punch. And, for those of you that have trained Jiu-Jitsu, you have that one person who you think you can beat. You think you're better. You're almost sure you're better. You're bigger, faster, stronger, whatever. And this person just does not give up. And no matter what you throw at them, they take it and they come back. They take it and they come back. So what happened was Amanda Nunes threw her everything, every punch she had, and Pena either dodged it or took it, absorbed it, and came right back. Said, "Oh yeah, is that what you got? Boom, I got this for you. Oh yeah, is that what you got? Boom, I got this for you." Finally, Nunes was tired, and she was up against the fence, and Pena did a slick takedown, got her taken down, and Nunes went into turtle. Why turtle? I don't know, but she went into turtle, and Pena just went and put her arm around her face. Didn't even really get a choke, but put her arm in. Didn't have any hooks in. The position wasn't secured. Nunes, all she had to do was just lift her butt up in the air, basically tripod up like this, right? And Pena would have fallen off, and she could have gotten up. But what did Nunes do instead? She tapped on the mat, just tap, tap, tap. It's like she gave up, right? Juliana Pena, biggest underdog in a while. Amanda Nunes, biggest champ in a while, pound for pound, like, better than Ronda Rousey type of thinking. And yet, the strong mind and the perseverance paid off. And by just persevering, Juliana Pena was able to make Amanda Nunes give up. She didn't knock her out, just made her give up, which is even worse. Right? I tell my students, look, whatever you do, don't give up. If you get beat, you get beat. There's nothing wrong with getting beat. But don't give up. So one of the ways that we cure that is we start from late white belt, where you're not allowed to tap to pressure. If somebody's got cross-eyed on you, mount, whatever, or they're smothering you, whatever, you can't tap to that. If you're senior white belt. If you're beginner white belt, yeah, go ahead, right? We're getting used to it. But once you get to a senior white belt level, no, you're not allowed to tap to that. You find a way, because, then I ask you, okay, if you tap to it, let me ask you this. Number one, were you going to die? No. Okay, number two, were you going to get injured? No. So why'd you tap? I don't know. Yeah, you don't know why you tapped. You just, something in your mind puts you in a panic state and you tap. So you need to overcome that and ignore it, right? If you're not going to die, if you're not going to get injured, suck it up and keep going. That's what Juliana Pena did, right? And no matter what, you need to keep pushing. right? And just think of it this way. You know, I used to look, you know, me being a small guy, I trained up against big guys, and one thing I would always think about is, man, you know, if I just keep moving, this guy will get tired. You know, he is bigger than me. You know, how can I move in a more efficient manner so that he uses his energy at a faster rate than I do? So I would just move, a little bit move, make him move a lot. So if I can move 1 inch, if I can make him move 2 inches, that's better. And I just keep moving. And then, you know, I just tell myself, you know what, 10 more seconds, Ryan, just 10 more seconds, just hold on, 10 more seconds. And we could be 30 minutes into this, right? Hold on, 10 more seconds. Because at some point, he's gonna break. What? No, he didn't break? Okay, Ryan, 10 more seconds, that's all we need, 10 more seconds. You know, and you know, this goes on minute after minute after minute. And I'm just keep telling myself, 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. Well, every time that I've done this, and you know, there was one match I remember, it was in the studio, I went 40 minutes. The guy weighed 100 pounds more than I was, and he was lean. I mean, he had gone through a steroid cycle. I mean, he just wanted to play around with it. He was big, he was strong. He's probably about 250, about 6'3". You know, I'm 5'4.5", and you know, he just kept passing my guard, get on top, pass guard, and I'd get out to guard. I couldn't even get on top. I could only play from guard. Guard, under cross-side, under mount, guard, under cross-side. That was the whole 45 minutes. But eventually, he mentally wore out, and I was able to get him. And that's not the first time. I've been able to do that throughout my younger years. You know, now it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care anymore. But that's the key here. And why we do jiu-jitsu is to teach you mental toughness. Because if, you know, at the end of the day, he's a human, you know, you're a human, or like with Juliana Pena, Amanda Nunes, as big a champ as she was, she's still a human being, right? Human beings have the same type of ailments and the same type of issues that other humans have. You know, we're not the same individually, but we're kind of the same, you know, biologically, physiologically, all that stuff. So, and human nature, right? There isn't human nature if most people aren't, you know, don't follow it. So she just continued on and just was the stronger mind of the two, and she was able to prevail. So for those of you who just are smaller and you feel, man, this doesn't work for me, just keep trying to prevail and keep learning how to sharpen your technique so you can be a little better than your opponent. And then after that, just tell yourself 10 seconds longer, 10 seconds longer. That's all you need to do. But if you're going to get injured, stop, tap, okay, and then try again. And learn what you did wrong, what put you in that bad spot, and fix that, and then move on again. Anyway, I hope that was helpful to you. I got to run over to the studio now and get started. But you know, come visit us at one of our studios, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu Irvine, that's California, and KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu Austin, Texas, as well as Dallas Fort Worth. That studio is located in Flower Mound. You can also come visit us at KAATAROJujitsuOnline.com if you want to sign up for our online curriculum and all the stuff that we have on there. We've got like 300 videos on our app ready to go. And there's more getting added all the time. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.